Welcome back to CPK Books and Accounts. Today we will understand an important topic in US payroll, that is Federal Withholding Tax. If you are a beginner in payroll accounting, this video will help you understand the basics in a very simple way. So let's start with what is Federal Withholding Tax. Federal withholding means the employer deducts estimated income tax from employee salary before paying the employee. The employer sends this deducted amount to the US government through the IRS. That IRS, the full form of that IRS is Internal Revenue Services. This is a US government department where all the advanced taxes have been submitted or paid. So this deduction happens every payroll cycle. If your payroll is running on weekly basis, bi-weekly, semi-monthly or monthly, so each time your federal withholding tax will be deducted. The employer later deposit this amount to the IRS on behalf of the employee. So this tax will be deducted from employee salary by the employer, and later on employer will deposit this amount to the IRS on behalf of employee. So why does the government use withholding? Why government is using withholding? Why they are applying this withholding in our pay stub? So instead of collecting all taxes at year end, the government collects taxes gradually throughout the year. The benefit of this is employees avoid huge tax payments later. Government gets continuous revenue, easier tax management. So withholding is basically an advanced tax collection system. So at the end of the year, I'm just giving you an example. So for say you have to pay $10,000 of $10,000, you have to pay $1,20,000 tax at the year end, but you don't have that much amount, or you haven't guessed that you have to pay that high tax at the year end. You were not prepared for that. So that's why this is an easy way which government has applied on our salaries, that the part of the total tax will be deducted in 12 installments, or you can say 24 installments. It depends on when your payroll is processed. If it is weekly, then it will be 52 installments your advance tax will be deducted. If it is monthly, then 12 months will be taken to deduct your taxes. So instead of giving the burden at once, the employer is deducting monthly tax and depositing to the government. Why federal withholding tax exists? The US government needs continuous revenue for defense, infrastructure, healthcare, education, government operations, and social programs. Instead of waiting until tax return season, taxes are collected every paycheck. This is called pay as you earn system. So government needs some money to fund the defense, infrastructure, healthcare, education, and other things as well related to government sector, and for the welfare of all the employees. So that's why instead of waiting waiting for year end that everyone will file the taxes and pay their taxes, government deduct that in advance on weekly basis or monthly basis, so that they can run their programs as well on the same time. What determines federal withholding? Federal withholding depends on several factors. First one is employee salary. If the employee salary is higher, which means the taxes will be higher as well. Second factor is filing status. So suppose if you are filing the taxes as single person, then your standard deduction will be limited. So when you will file the taxes at the year end, the income tax, then you have option whether you can file a single, married filing, jointly, head of household. So whatever you will choose, there are some standard deduction that up to that mark you don't have to pay any tax, or you don't have to pay the tax up to a limited mark. So that's why if you're single, that will be the lower 13,000 approx, I believe. So if you don't cross that limit, then you don't have to pay the taxes. So the third factor is form W4. Employees will fill out this form W4. Employee will fill this W4 at the time of joining. Employee will submit this to employer, and employer accordingly update the details in their records, and that W4 details will be used when your taxes have been deducted from your salary. This W4 forms, you just have to type on Google form W4 PDF. You will get the format of this W4 form, and some of the points which includes into this W4 forms are marital status, dependents, extra withholding preference. These three options are necessary in W4 forms, which affects the federal withholding tax calculation. Based on this form, payroll software calculate tax deductions. IRS tax tables. The IRS publishes withholding tables and calculation method every year. Employers use wage bracket method or percentage method. These methods help determine how much federal tax should be deducted from each paycheck. So for example, like social security is 6.2% from employee side and 6.2 from employer side. Total 12.4% social security will be deducted from an individual employee in one paycheck. Same for Medicare, 2.9% will be deducted for a single person in a single paycheck. But IRS doesn't have that kind of percentage. There is a table. If you will go to Google and search for federal withholding tax calculation table, so you'll get a PDF where there are limits that if you're falling in between this to this wage brackets and you are single or you're married filing the income tax at the year end, so that according to that your federal withholding tax will be calculated. So there is no specific percentage or a simple way to calculate this, and I haven't mentioned in this presentation, but federal tax can be zero as well. It depends on you. If you want to mention zero in it, it can be. Or if you want to increase the amount, the calculated amount is, for example, calculated amount is $30, but you want to show this as 3,000, so you can do that. You can pay the advance taxes at the year end. If you are not falling into the tax bracket, then you can get the refund of that. So that was related to federal withholding. So in this video we learned what federal withholding tax is, why it exists, how it works, what factors affect withholding, how employers calculate deductions. Understanding federal withholding is very important for anyone learning US payroll accounting. If you found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe to CPK Books and Accounts channel. For more payroll and accounting video, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.